In our news bulletin for this evening, Niue's Returned Servicemen's Association are preparing two major centenary celebrations to mark Niue's contributions in the First World War. Niue's Education Department is in talks with one early childhood education provider from New Zealand for a potential working partnership. Ecclesia Keresiano Niue organized a youth fellowship to encourage youth participation and strengthening spiritual enlightenment. The long Easter break and daylight savings will see a few slight changes. Niue's Returned Servicemen's Association is preparing to honor those who sacrificed their lives to serve in the First World War in a series of activities to mark the centenary celebrations. It has been a century now since 150 of Niue's very own soldiers signed up to join the New Zealand forces in World War I. Each year on the 25th of April marks Anzac Day, a stark reminder of the loss of lives on the battlefields in Gallipoli in a war that was meant to end all wars. Last year there were talks that a group from Niue would be invited to Gallipoli to attend the centenary. Since then, RSA President Charlie Tovaka says that Niue will not be sending a group to those celebrations because of an issue of eligibility, but Anzac celebrations on island will continue as usual, and they will have a special centenary program here on the island. Although Niue RSA will not make it to centenary celebrations in Gallipoli, Charlie says that government has agreed to send a group to France next year, but that is still being discussed. With Anzac just weeks away, the RSA organization has plans to highlight the centenary lead-up. However, the highlight for this year will be in Niue's RSA program to mark 100 years since the Niue soldiers left the island on the 13th of October, with a special memorial cenotaph to be unveiled. An invitation has also been extended to Niueans living abroad to return and join in on celebrations in October that will mark a significant moment in Niue's history. The Education Department is in talks this week with one early education provider in New Zealand to develop a memorandum of understanding that will see both schools working collaboratively. Last year, the Director of Education, Bertha Tongahai, and Niue Public Service Commissioner, Atapana Siokimotu, met with New Zealand Ministry of Education agencies to engage with education providers as part of the education sector program of NZ Aid. From those discussions, the department was able to identify some potential opportunities and partnerships to work with the schools on island, especially in an exchange-type development program for teachers between schools.
Or this week, we're getting to the stage where we can formalise that in terms of a teacher exchange program. So I think it's a first step, and it's a good step for us. It will certainly benefit not only the teachers here in ECE and in Niue, but also our teachers in Auckland to get the opportunity to come over and to learn about the programs that are being offered. And I think it's a two-way partnership where we can see the benefits for not only developing our teachers but also developing our curriculum, and also being able to collaborate on resources where we can share resources or share ideas around how we can create especially language resources which are in a short supply. And I think those are the areas that we're quite interested in, and I think we're quite excited about it all, because I don't think this is, this will be the first of its kind in terms of a partnership between the Niue government or the education department and a education institution in Auckland. I think for us it's to get started and see where it goes, and making sure that the benefits that we talk about do actually eventuate.
Nukutulua is one of such schools that specialises in early childhood education with a very strong Niuean influence, as it was set up by members of the Niuean community more than 20 years ago. Ronhiku Viviani is the current manager, who says they have a number of areas that they're looking at to enrich early childhood education that could also be helpful in this potential partnership.
For us, we're looking at different types of early learning. Of course, we know the common model of centre-based early learning, where you offer programs and curriculum in the centres, in the schools. But then you also, we've introduced into our model home-based, which is another type of early learning. And home-based is really where you get to provide learning in the children's home. And for us, we've gone into that area. We've opened a couple of licenses, and at the moment we've got 150 children enrolled in that home-based centres or licenses. And I think that's really good because we get to work with the parents, we get to work with the community, and even there's a lot of family members that participate as educators in the home-based network. So that's quite interesting for us, and as an organisation we've been around for the last 28 years, and for us it's good to be able to do these sorts of things, and to increase participation of our children in early learning. The other areas that we're looking at is a new centre out in Manurewa that we're looking at opening over the next couple of months, and that's a centre that's been purpose-built, but it's one of those new projects which they have in terms of looking at a relocatable project where you can build a centre at half the cost of what they normally do at the moment. It'll be an interesting project because I think the ministry is quite keen to show that we can provide a low-cost model for our community, and at the same time provide learning opportunities for children. So, yeah, we are slowly getting there, and we're not quite there yet, but we are moving in the right direction. And I think we just got to keep going.
Mr. Viviani is on the island this week to see whether there is a possibility for a formal arrangement that would be a great opportunity for both schools. The Education Department is looking to put forward a submission to Cabinet for endorsement and hope that a memorandum of understanding will also be developed at some point. The Ecclesia Kerisiano Niue Youth Committee are taking a new approach to encourage more young people to return to the fold by organizing an Easter activity for youth to have fun with God on Easter Monday. The Outdoors Youth Fellowship Program will be held in Tamutonga with a range of sports activities, taking on board the theme for youth to have a sense of belonging, to share information, and to participate in all activities, BSP. According to the Ecclesia Youth Programs Coordinator, Reverend Ingasia Mukule, the Youth Fellowship is a new approach targeting youth using in outdoors activities to encourage youth to participate and support each other during activities. This will hopefully be able to transfer across all walks of life that will help promote unity, motivate strengthening fellowship, and spiritual enlightenment. Some of the highlights for the program will be a beach volleyball competition, touch rugby, tag rugby, and a boot camp, and with a light lunch of sausage sizzle at the end. The participation of youth from all different denominations is encouraged to be part of this fellowship fun day. As we head into the long Easter weekend break that starts from Friday until Monday next week, there will be a few changes. For New Zealand, daylight savings will end on Sunday. That will mean they will turn back their clocks an hour behind, but that will not affect Niue except for those who will be travelling from New Zealand. Their flight times will change slightly, and Pelini's Travel says that flight arrival times in Niue will remain the same. The Ecclesia Niue Sunday School Easter Rally will now be held on Sunday afternoon due to some unexpected community commitments. The long Easter break will mean no school and most public servants are on a public holiday, but school and work will resume back to normal working hours on Tuesday. The second weekly flight will also start up on Tuesday next week. And that is our news bulletin for this evening. We do wish everyone an enjoyable long Easter weekend break and see you all back here on Tuesday evening.